3,000 miles. The bike is mine. I feel like I know it pretty well at this point. I know what it's going to do. I feel quite confident on this bike. I don't need to keep saying I've got a lot to learn. I feel like I'm sure the bike will teach me some more things, but primarily it's my skills that are going to improve. And I think I know the bike well enough to say, yeah, this is a keeper. Fantastic bike. When I first brought it home, should I have gone that way? No, I think that's, no, that's not it. Okay, when I first brought this bike home, within 2 days, it had a flat tire because KTM did a lousy job of installing the valve stem on the banded tire. Not just on my bike, on a lot of people's bikes. There were bikes all over the world having leaking air problems. I blame KTM for that one. That was a bad quality control on their part. Other than that, problems I've had with the bike. It does do the one-cylinder start thing sometimes when it's been sitting even just overnight. It never does a one-cylinder start. Or hasn't done a one-cylinder start on me. Hasn't done a one-cylinder start on me when I'm not letting the bike sit. You know, if I just keep riding all day, every time I start and stop, it starts normally. But when the bike's cold, it will start on one cylinder sometimes. And you know it because it's barely running, and doesn't give you a lot of confidence that if you grab the throttle, it's going to do anything other than stall, which is what it usually does. Sometimes you have to start it more than once. Apparently that's a thing with the 890s. It's well known. It's definitely a thing with this one. Not a big deal. Eventually it does start with 2 cylinders. Some of this stuff on some of my other bikes in the past, this would be a much more exciting ride, because I'd be hard pressed to go at any speed at all and stay in control. This bike, no problem. This bike just handles everything. That's the greatest thing about this bike. Your ability to put it anywhere. It's perfectly balanced. It makes everything easy. And I've been splitting my time between my 2 bikes. My Super Adventure S has certainly gotten plenty of a workout, but I still managed to put 3,000 miles on this bike inside of just about 2 months. I think I bought it at the end of March. Right now it's pretty early in June. So I've gotten 3,000 miles on this bike, or I will by the time I get home from this ride. And to give a comparison, when I did that on my 690, it took me 2.5 years to get a little more than 5,000 miles. So that just tells you what it is to ride this bike. You can take it long distance. You can get off the third, maybe put it back in 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can get on the twisties, and it's a blast on the twisties. This bike is a do-it-all. I don't want to call it a jack of all trades, because here's these birds again. Okay, don't want to get those. I don't want to call it a jack of all trades, because that usually means it's a master of none. This bike is fantastic on the twisties. It's fantastic in the dirt. It is competent and capable everywhere I've ridden it. The reason I bought this bike is so that I can stop putting my 690 in the back of the pickup truck and trying to talk my wife into taking me somewhere and dropping me off, and then she could drive home a couple hours, because it's just too miserable to ride the 690 anywhere on the road for any amount of time. This bike has totally done away with that. I love riding this bike on the road. It is an awesome bike on the road. I have no hesitation to take this out onto the twistiest roads and just hammer it as hard as I want to. And that's saying something, because I'm used to hammering a Super Adventure S. And well, this bike doesn't have the pull of the 1290. It's really respectable. It just goes. And I love the motor on this bike. It's powerful, it's fun, it's quick. It's just it's a joy. So motor is fantastic, and the ability to just go for hours. You know, my wife and I took a trip on Memorial Day. We did 180 miles to get from our house to the cabin we stayed at, and it was never tedious. It was all pavement, but it was never tedious. It was never annoying the way it would be on the 690 for me. This bike going long distance, it's a home run. It's a fantastic long distance bike, and that's one of the primary reasons I bought it. So check that box. That is perfect. And once again, I've got the tracker with me, but God, I hope it doesn't turn out like the last time I took the tracker. That mountain pass really sucked. Let's see what this turns out to be. This looks like a lot of fun on the GPS. Lots of switchbacks, lots of great turns. So looking forward to this. This gate is open. I wonder if that means I'm going to run into another closed gate somewhere. A water crossing here. Once again, the wonderful thing about the 890 is you can go anywhere. If I do it on my 690, I'll do it on the 890. It's just that good. It's that stable. There is no loss of capability for somebody like me. The 890 just gets you through it, makes it all easy. It's fun. Power lines, that's a nice view. The truth is, I probably do more on the 890 than I ever would have wanted to do on the 690. I'm going to assume it's a split gas tank that makes this bike so stable. It looks like interesting. Ooh. Oh boy, yeah. Yeah, you can just do it on this bike. It's really interesting sometimes, but after 3,000 miles or almost 3,000 miles of riding this bike, it gives you a lot of confidence to tackle things you might not have done on other bikes. The power's there to get you through it. You know, as long as you got tires that are puncture resistant enough to do it. I find that I'm putting myself in, where am I going now? Let's see. All right, let's see what happens. Yep, 2-track. I mean, I keep getting myself deeper and deeper on this bike. You know, it's something that at age 57 you think, gee, I'm slowing down, I'm not going to do as much, and then you buy a bike like this, you just keep going. Honestly, I haven't done stuff like this in a very long time, and it's fun. I enjoy it. You know, I'm not a big rock rider, but the 890 makes, so far, everything easy. Just got to be careful, even with a tracker, don't get in over your head. That mountain pass one, that video that I shot, that was there's a closed gate over there, okay. That mountain pass video, that was getting to the limits of my interest and comfort level. Actually exceeded my levels. I don't care to go back there again. That was that started off as just a little bit of ruts and ended up with, I don't like being on the side of a mountain, not being able to see what I'm riding on. So 890, it'll put you places you didn't think you'd go. Like right here. Let's see, where am I? I'm off the route. All right, well, let's see where it goes anyways. definitely seeing a route here on the GPS that is to the right or to the left of the route I had intended to take. So where am I going? Off route. Let's go. Whoa, whoa, sand. I suck in sand. Once again, bark busters, not a terrible idea. This brings up one of the weaknesses of the 890. It's slow speed, it will cook you. It's, let's see what the temperature, well, I'm going to look at where I'm riding rather than looking at the temperature. Temperature here is 70 degrees, and I'm putting along at, 15, 18 miles an hour, and it's hot. I had switched to Carlsbad, the climb Carlsbad, because my Badlands were so hot, and quite honestly, these are still really hot. So, downside of the 890, slow speed. I still have my cat in. Don't know if I'll take that out or not. Don't know if that makes enough of a difference. Slow speed, this bike is hot. You get above 45 miles an hour, you'd never know it was hot. It's perfectly fine, or at least it's fine. I've got the cool cover on this bike, and so far its speed, never really felt a problem with this bike, temperature-wise. But when you're doing the slow stuff, very, very hot. Always get a good sweat going down here. Down here below the belt line. Yeah, that's the end of the line. yeah, I think that's the end of the line. It almost looks intentional. It's so bad. I don't see a way around it, so it looks like I'm going back. Good times, good times. Alright, let's remember there was sand here, and very close to putting it on the ground, so let's just see if we can do it without looking foolish here. Okay, nice and easy. Yeah, I suck in sand. I once took a Learn to Race Baja course. That's because I thought I had it in my head that I wanted to race the Baja, and went down there. Tim Morton runs a class, and what I learned is I'm not cut out for the Baja. I'm an East Coast hard pack rider, and I am not a Baja sand rider, and I sucked it up down there. I'm not usually the worst guy or the slowest guy, but when I did that, I was by far the worst guy and the slowest guy in the group, and it taught me you don't even need to think about racing the Baja. You don't have the skills. More importantly, you don't have the interest in learning the skills. So that was the end of my Baja dream. It's good. Sometimes you got to have reality kick in and tell you, nope, that's not you. The other shortcoming on this bike, of course, is, let's see, where the hell am I? Let's go this way. Figure out sooner or later. I got gas, I got daylight. The other shortcoming on this bike is, of course, the windscreen. That can be a factor of how tall are you. It can be a factor of what helmet are you wearing. For me, being 6 foot tall and wearing an XD4 helmet, the windscreen by itself, as it comes to you from the box, is awful. Do not want to use this windscreen for anything. Right now I've got this temporary windscreen up here, and it's sufficient. I mean, it's not great, but it allows me to go anywhere I want to go. I'm looking forward to the aftermarket coming up with windscreens that will work and do better, but so far they haven't, so I'm still waiting for that. One of the great things about the bike is the power. I mean, you just you put the power to it, it gets a pretty good kick, and it's fun. but it's fun, it's enjoyable, nothing wrong with it at all. It's got a lot of power. That's a 4th gear wheelie just with the power. Let's go ahead and put it into traction control. 6 will be fine for this. 6, that's good. We'll count up here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's another great thing, is the ability to easily change the traction control from one to another. I'm constantly going from 1 when I'm on the pavement and going to 6 when I'm off pavement. 6 seems to work just fine for me, and anything I'm going to do, it still allows me to power slide as much as I want to power slide, but I don't have to work real hard to keep it under control. It's doing only what I want it to do. When I had tried to power slide without it, it's just a lot of work keeping this much engine under control, and so I'm really happy to have the ability to go up and down with the rally mode, to change traction control on the fly. It's a game changer. Speed shifting, after 3,000 miles, I feel like I've got an idea of what this speed shifter is. I'd put it on par with my 2020 Super Adventure S, which has 29,000 miles on it. It is very broken in, and that speed shifter is as smooth as anything. And this one's, I'd say, on par with the 2020 Super Adventure S. I don't find it to be any better, and I don't find it to be any worse. Maybe when this one gets 29,000 miles, I'll feel differently, and this one may be better, but right now I'd put those about equal. The stock seat is fine. This is the first time, I think, ever I've had a KTM stock seat survive. My 690 had a seat concept seat on it. My Super Adventure S has a KTM Power Parts, but it's, it's it's one of their upgraded seats, and that one works great. I'm riding the stock, out of the box 890 Adventure R 2023 stock seat, and I've been on it for, well, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours today. I'm standing up in the dirt and stuff, but still not inspired to change out this seat. So I'd say this is probably the best stock seat built for what it's built for, which is a dirt bike. It's been a good seat. I've got the cool cover on it, which does change it some. Initially it made it a little less comfortable, I thought, but I've gotten used to the cool cover. At these speeds right now, it's at 59. I don't really feel the heat. Here's a very minor weak spot about the 890. Reverse the spring on the kickstand. I found mine at the end of that mountain pass video. My spring got ripped off, and when I looked at pictures of it, the spring in the back was facing down so that anything could loop around it and pull it off. I have no idea what happened to pull it off on that video or on that ride, but when I got my replacement spring, the dealership told me I was the 3rd one that week, that maybe even the 4th one that week that had lost their spring. So when I put this one on, my wife was watching me do it. She's like, well, why don't you turn it around? And I gotta say, she was right. I mean, it's much less likely to grab anything and get pulled off with it this way. So that's a minor thing, but it's a minor thing. But if you ride and you lose your spring, it's a real pain in the neck, because your kickstand switch is going to shut off the bike, and you will have to come up with a solution. So my suggestion, flip around your spring. As far as the delivered tires go, the E07 Plus, I'm pretty indifferent about them. I don't expect any tire to grip on gravelly stuff like this. It's just, nothing's going to dig in. It's just, a big block is certainly better than a small block knobby, but in general, I'm indifferent about the E07. I'm going to try the Tractionator Adventure. I know there's a bunch of different Tractionators. This will be my first one. And the reason I picked this is because it seems like it's got good reviews for on-road, and I've said it in all the videos. This bike is phenomenal on-road. It's a great twisty road bike. I don't want to give that up. I'm enjoying that too much that when I do get on the pavement, this bike is not a compromise. It's a fantastic pavement bike. It's a fantastic twisty road bike, and I don't want to give that up. So I'm going to try this Tractionator and see how it goes. The E07, it's fine, but it's pretty much dead here at 3,000 miles. I haven't figured out what I'm going to put on the front of the 890 yet. The E07 is still there. It's still got plenty of life left, and they don't make a Tractionator Adventure, or at least I couldn't find it, for the front tire. So I've got to figure out what I'm doing there. See, that's what happens. You do these little wheelies, and then you look down and realize, oh, I'm still in one, and I'm riding in dirt. I don't know if that has something to do with the reason the tire's dead inside of 3,000 miles. Yeah, it's probably still street legal. It probably passed inspection, but as far as getting any grip when you're going to do mud or something, I consider this tire to be dead. My 3,000 mile mark, if you look at it, the bike has hit 3,000 miles. Here's a testament to the 890 that I could never ever say for the 690. This road up here on the left is it's a wonderful dirt road. It's 10 miles long. This one here right there, it's a 10-mile long dirt road. It can be slow. It's pretty gravelly, so it's slippery at times. I like that road. It's called Squirrel Gap. Normally, if I were on the 690, there's no way I would pass up a dirt road for a paved road. You know, you wouldn't do it, because the 690 only really works well on the dirt. Here, I just went past it, and the reason I did is I'm 170 miles into today's ride right now, and I'm getting kind of tired. The gas is getting low, it's blinking at me, and you know, I'm kind of ready to take it easy to get back. And another 10 miles of dirt, sure, I could do it, but I don't have to do it. I can take this lovely twisty road back to town, get gas, and then take a nice leisurely ride, as leisurely as I do at least, nice leisurely ride back home, and I'm not forced to hit dirt the way I felt obligated to do it on the 690, because 690 just wasn't any fun for me on the pavement, where this is a blast on the pavement. So that's something that it's a big difference. It's exactly what I wanted out of the 890. Let's see, I think I'm going straight. Yeah, I'm going straight. It's exactly what I hoped the 690 was going to give me, was the ability to, or I'm sorry, let's say that again. It's exactly what I wanted the 890 to give me, was enjoyment if you're on pavement. And this bike's a hoot on pavement. It's awesome. So I'm perfectly happy staying on pavement, getting to gas, going home after, you know, I'll probably do 200 and I'm gonna guess 20 miles today, the day I hit 3,000. All right, coming in from 220 miles of all kinds of stuff. It's no problem on the 890. I've been sitting on my butt for quite a while. I've been out for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. Done some really good stuff. Just wonderful, wonderful bike. Look forward to the next 3,000 miles.